When troubles come and my heart burdened be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. Stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. Raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be.
I knew Paden through Scouts. It's mainly where I knew him, and I spent most of my time with him. If I had to describe Paden, it would be as a scout. He was always there. He exemplified the ideals of scouting. He was always able to, be your friend, to help out, even teach you something. I never saw him really sad or upset with anything. He always had a smile on his face. Always able to crack a joke when he needed to. I think one large trip where we spent about a week with him straight and never got tired of the guy. He was always there to, be a friend and stuff.
So I didn't really know Paden all that well. I kind of first met him when I joined the ship back in 2019, and we took a little trip down to Florida, and that was the first time I really got to know him. When we were on an island, the Cumberland Islands in Georgia, I kind of noticed he was an interesting character because he kept us all entertained with his Would You Rather book he brought along, and we managed to get through like half of that book, which was kind of funny. Past that, I knew him. I helped out with his Eagle Scout project, but from what I hear, is still there, which is a good thing. And I wish his family all the best.
I knew Peyton pretty much through scouting. I knew him on two main occasions on this 2017 National Jamboree, and then I also worked on his Eagle project down in the World Bird Sanctuary, which is actually still there. That project is still very much well kept, so that's really good to see. I've been down there a few times, so that's cool. But a lot of the memories I remember with him were from the National Jamboree, definitely. Um, and a lot of the memories that I have of the Jamboree involve Paden. Um, he was always very, very energetic. Always was a just a good dude to hang out with. He was never like a guy where he would come over and I'd be like, oh crap, what's gonna happen? You know, it was always I always knew it was gonna be a good time when Peyton came over. And I spent a lot of days walking with him, and yeah, it's a really cool guy. Um, I don't have any like specific, memories, but I just have a lot of the flashes that come through my mind when I think of like National Jamboree. A lot of them involve Peyton. He was just an all around good guy. Yeah.
One of my favorite memories of Paden is was at the Area 3 Sea Scout rendezvous. Uh, we were in kiddie pools. We were paddling around on a race to go around this cone and all, and out of nowhere, I got hit in the head by the national boatswain. Yeah, and then Peyton's right behind me as I stop paddling because I've just been hit in the head by a paddle, and he looks at me as I am bleeding. He goes, "You don't look so good, Chief," and he paddles away. Hey, another good one is on our way down to Florida on our high adventure trip. I was in the back seat with Peyton. Paden being the smallest of the three of us in the back. Paden was put in the middle. Now, out of everyone in the middle, in the back, uh, he took up the most room in the entire the back seat. I mean, I was pushed against the wall basically, and he was still saying I was taking up too much room. Same for Junior.
Wow, I've known Peyton since he would turn 10 and just got into Boy Scouts. I can remember being down at Camp Van and doing his crossover ceremony, and he was so excited about getting into the troop. And then, he just was always active into everything he did. I mean, he took it a step farther. Even when things weren't going so well for him on occasion, he would constantly push himself to see how far he could take it. I mean, if there was a trip to go on, he'd go. And I remember his first Sea Scout experience. We went up to Lake Springfield and we sailed up there, and he was trying out for the Coke Cup, and the wind was really slow, so he was moving the tiller back and forth as fast as he could, trying to get that boat to move, and all it did was keep shifting positions, going back and forth, never moving forward. It was just an interesting experience watching him try to sail that day. Of course, everybody was struggling that day, and then when he went to the Georgia coast with us and uh, laid down in the sand in the water all with us like we were the monkeys group, and when this waves coming up and splashing over us, and everybody out there was from Georgia was wearing heavy coats, and here we were out in swim gear and maybe t-shirts, and he was always out there. He was just fun to work with, fun to watch him do his projects. Always pushed what he was doing a little bit farther than what he probably needed to get it done. It was good to work with. I really enjoyed Paden.
We were doing our trials for the National Sea Scout Sailing Competition Cup. Uh, there was no wind that day in Springfield, so we're all on our little sunfish boats, and out of nowhere, as we're all shaking the rudder very quickly, trying to get some sort of motion,
you can hear from across the lake this yelling, and if you paid attention to it, all you would hear is paddle faster with the rudder. And Paden kept on saying that as he's laughing as maniacally as he's pushing back and forth on that little rudder, making some movement forward.
Well, hello, folks. My name is Steve Thompson,
And I'm Holly Thompson.
and we are leaders with Troop 9 and Ship 9, and we've been involved with this unit for many, many years. And we also have 3 kids of our own. We have Joy, who's 24, Bradley, 22, who's also a student at Carbondale, and then our youngest son, Matthew, who's 17, going to be 18. Now, Matthew, our youngest son, was troop mates with Paden at the 2017 Jamboree. Matthew was 12 at the time. Paden was 14 at the time. That was in the 2017 Jamboree, and Matt has many, many great memories of that. Holly, did you want to talk about his project?
Yeah,
No, we
we
don't.
worked with Paden on his Eagle Scout project in 2021, where he led us in constructing a trail at the World Bird Sanctuary on the other side of St. Louis, and he led us in that construction, and he seemed like a really great guy.
Well, I, of course, remember Paden was not alone in waiting right up till his 18th birthday to get his project done. He's not alone in that. And I remember he also had a big production in Waterloo at the time, a big stage production, which he had a lot of lines for. So he was balancing the rehearsals with his project. But also, one of my claims to fame with Paden is that I helped him in all 3 weekends that he needed work done. We had a first weekend with a lot of people. We had the big chili lunch, and we had all these wheelbarrows of stuff to get trails straightened out. That was the first weekend. Then the second weekend, we still needed to work, and we were unable to get the holes drilled for the gateway, the logs, the telephone pole logs for the gateway crossing for the trail. And so the second weekend, we worked on that, and then we had to come back one more time in the third weekend, and I met Paden and his grandmother, and then a gentleman who helped dig those holes with a machine. And I told Paden, I said, Paden, you're the boy, I'm the adult, so I'm going to stand here and talk and tell jokes, and you're going to do the work. And so I held the logs in place while he filled in the area and filled in the dirt and the rocks and everything to get it done. And it was deep enough to be perfect, but he had to do all the work and I did all the talking. And then we got it all lashed together and celebrated actually finishing it. And then of course he got his paperwork in just in time in 2021. And I have been able over the last 2 years to give him a hard time every single time I've seen him, to remind him of who helped him on all 3 of his weekends. But we've had a lot of great memories, and we watched Paden grow up and develop into a great, great young person. And Scouts had a tremendous effect. No question, Scouts had a tremendous effect on that young man.
Yep, and I know Saluki Nation is
Oh, 100%,
mourning with
100%.
him as well. So, so just our thoughts and prayers are with his family right now, and we just we echo those
Absolutely.
remarks as well.
And we're just so grateful that we were able to get him across the finish line for Eagle while he was in high school, and all his other achievements with cross country and track and everything else, all his art that he does and the paintings that we were able to, he was able to cross that finish line and get that achievement. We are so immensely grateful for that. Right? Absolutely.
I've known Paden for a long time. He was a very good friend of mine, and I remember so many of the trips that we went on together. Some very notable ones being our trip to South Dakota, our trip to the Cumberland Island off the coast of Georgia, and of course he and I went on a trip to Summit Bechtel Reserve for the National Jamboree. All of them were really fun. We grew together and bonded a lot on those. He was actually my tent mate. It was a really fun and amazing experience, and I'm really glad we got to spend it together. He was my assistant patrol leader at Jamboree, and he and I tented together. And I remember a few instances where he complained about this stink in the tent, and I assured him it wasn't me. It was me. But yeah, he was a really funny guy. He was great energy to have in the room. I wish we could have sailed together more, and I miss you, bud.